Welcome to the beginning of the episode. That's now delayed by a week because we have an episode in the bank. So we are no longer with the times. This is no longer a podcast that is down to the minute news in the hardscape industry.
It's unfortunate nobody came to our LO Congress meetup.
Yeah, it is. It's disappointing.
I'm just predicting in the future. This is.
How did you guys like Congress? Was it good? Was it everything you thought it would be?
Yeah.
I feel like at some point in the near future, I need to tell Mo from Mammoth that the meetup is on Wednesday at 12 p.m. at his booth.
That'd be a good thing to tell him.
I feel like I should bring him into the loop. Say, yo, Mo, like we're going to have a meetup at your booth at 12 p.m. I think he'll be cool with it. If he isn't, we'll just move to the booth next door to him.
If you don't tell him and nobody comes,
it's okay.
It's okay because we won't be embarrassed.
Right.
I think we should not tell him and then not show up. And then if people do come, he'll be like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Now that would be an actual, not our finest hour thing to do.
That would be.
A bunch of people are like, hey, bro, where's my free t-shirt? I thought the t-shirts were coming here. Like, you know. Are we giving out t-shirts?
I am trying to get t-shirts, yes. We are past the point of being able to order them from the shop that's going to supply our merch, but I've got somebody local that's printing the shirts, so we're good.
Wow. Nice.
So they'll be one of ones because we won't be purchasing our merch.
And if you're listening to this episode, you'll have already fucked up your chance to get them.
That's very true. Yeah.
You have no chance of getting these shirts unless Mike reworks the episodes again and fucks and moves this one to Friday. We should keep that other episode in the bank until we need it, and then randomly just work it into the mix. So that stuff we talked about 8 months ago.
But that episode has the announcement of the time and date of the
so perhaps we should put that episode on there then. So I took the bull by the horns. Well, it's an exaggeration. Kelly was really the lead in this, but I feel like we finally, and this has been a long time coming. This is 30 years of landscape contracting coming, but Kelly started this process October 31st on my birthday, and we finally took the bull by the horns. There's a lot of, obviously everyone knows we lost $150,000 last year, so we're trying to make some changes. We're trying to take things a lot more seriously here. We're trying to find cost savings. We're trying to get to know our numbers. And one of the biggest expenditures we found was on beef jerky. So Kelly got me a dehydrator for my birthday. And today, together as a couple, we drew a line in the sand with the business together as a couple, and we started producing our own beef jerky. So that way, we think that will bring the company back to profitability.
That's a good idea. I think as our podcast grows, we'll have more and more opportunities to bring products to the market. There's a lot of podcasts do that. And around our brand, I think beef jerky is a great product to bring to the market.
I'm going to look how to pickle eggs at home. We can bring beef jerky and pickled eggs. So we made a basic beef jerky, which is a whole bunch of like brown sauces, Worcestershire sauce and soy sauce and salt and garlic. That's like a basic. Then we also prepared a sriracha honey beef jerky.
Nice.
Which was basically like a cup of sriracha and some honey, and then put it on the beef jerky. I feel like that's going to be hot as fuck. It should be less sriracha, but maybe the honey will. I don't know. It was a recipe from a book, so if it's really shitty, I'll bring it to the meetup at Mammoth and give it out to people. And the people who are listening now will have already eaten it, and they'll know that I knew it was shit when I brought it.
And they're all sick. Trying to get over it.
I don't think anyone will get sick. I think it's just going to be really fucking spicy.
Oh, I see.
But I mean, I think that this episode, we could really focus on how the kind of cost savings we're building to save our business. Do you have a line item in your software for beef jerky, Mike?
A food line item. You can
Well,
create whatever you want in this.
beef jerky specific, really. I
Yeah,
don't-
beef jerky.
dried. You could call it dried meat. You could. I mean, I think you don't need to know the difference between pepperonis and beef jerky when you're bidding your landscape project. I think it could all go under dried meat.
Would this just be incorporated as an overhead expense, though?
I guess it depends how big it is.
Like,
When does something get big enough to not be an overhead expense?
Well, it depends
It's
if it's
al- it's
tied to a
almost a real
specific
question.
project or not.
That's almost a real question.
That's great. Just have a line item on your quote for
Beef
beef
jerky.
jerky, but instead of beef jerky, it says BJ. What's this BJ line item? Well, that's the beef jerky. Of
That's the
course.
beef jerky line item. Why wouldn't everyone have a? Would you put a line item for like lunches and stuff on a job?
I think those would all have to be overhead expenses because they're not tied specifically to a project. So it's not a cost of good.
What if you were doing like a lunch for your guys every week?
Even still, yeah.
It's an overhead expense.
Yeah. That's something
weird.
that you would budget and then put into the software for as an overhead expense. And then that way it's still calculated the same way. It doesn't appear as a line item on your bill for your client.
Do I get to depreciate my dehydrator?
Dehydrator. Is it an office item?
Yeah, I guess.
I'm not going to give bookkeeping advice here, so
I think
nothing
you
to get
can.
me in trouble.
Depreciate the dehydrator. I also today went back to the first time I went to the chiropractor / acupuncture person to try and repair my horribly broken body. Today, as I was driving to the chiropractor, I was thinking about all the times that I was like on a job site, like a residential job site, and you're doing something, and there's some like really older person you're working for. You'll relate to this, Mike. And you're working in a retirement community, and inevitably that old person hanging over the balcony says to you, "You're gonna regret that when you're older." Because you're lifting something that's too heavy, or you're struggling with a wheelbarrow. And I would always be like, "Yeah, what the fuck do you know?" That old guy hanging over the balcony, who possibly had a couple strokes, I'll tell you, that fucker knew what he was talking about. I regret it now. I'm older, and I regret it. And I know that guy's dead, so I can't go. Well, I just assume he is. So I can't go back and tell him how right he was. But somewhere, that guy's smiling, saying, "I fucking told that young fucker, and he didn't want to listen." And
But
look
one
at
day
me.
you'll get to be that old guy.
I feel like I'm kind of that guy now.
Do kids listen to you?
No, God, no. Would you listen to me?
I take your advice quite often.
Really?
I sometimes repeat it as my own.
That's true.
Well, one of the things, though, is I think that I'm not the last generation, because I think that Chad and Mike, you guys are mid, but I'm not the last generation, but close to it, of never having vacuum lifters or clamps or all the shit that people have now. Like when I started, there was like one clamp for Sienna Wall being shared all over Ontario. People didn't have. You had to like book the clamp. I'm building this wall on August 7th, and you'd book the clamp with Unilock or Lock Uni, whatever. Now people just have their own fucking clamps. You're like, this is stupid. I'll just buy this clamp for $1,000. Like it. So I may be the last severely damaged generation.
Yeah.
I also
Might be
think
right.
that your generation, like Chad goes to. I know you don't go to the gym, Mike, but
I
Chad,
do now.
Really?
Yeah,
As
that's
of-
actually
You
something.
said the
yesterday,
gym
is it
was the
your New
most
Year's
boring thing ever.
It is boring, but I have turned a new leaf. Chad has influenced me.
You really do need to take care of your body. Like even I thought I took care of my body until this last year when I stopped, and this has been the worst year yet for feeling bad.
I said to the chiropractor lady today, as she was moving my hips in insane directions that they don't move in, um, she said, "What's your goal here?" And I said, "Well, I don't think full movement and pain free is an achievable goal for me." And she said, "I agree." I said, "I'm hoping for like 3/4 movement and a dull, numb pain that just lasts all day, 24 hours, instead of sharp driving pain that lasts 24 hours a day, 7 days a week." And she felt like I could accomplish that. At some point in my life, I could have 3/4 movement of my hips and have only a dull driving pain 24/7.
After thousands upon thousands of dollars spent at the
Yeah.
chiropractor. Yeah.
The problem is,
Whose
it's
course does she follow?
what?
She's got you in the top of funnel.
Well,
Oh
you know-
yeah.
Well, I was laying face down on the whatever the apparatus is, and the lady was installing these needles for acupuncture in me because I'm committed to recovery here. I am committed to 3/4 movement and dull pain. I am fucking committed to it because no movement and sharp pain sucks ass a lot. So she's stabbing me with these needles, and she sticks one in my left side of my hip, which is like the really bad hip. I like the horrible hip, the worst one. And I don't know where she stuck it. I have a pretty good pain tolerance, but I was like, holy fuck, because it just was rippling pain throughout my body. And I was like, oh my God, what the fuck is going on? And she said, oh, I'm going to hook up these electrode things. Tell me when you can feel it. And I said, okay. And she's hooking up the electrode things and she's turning it up. But I'm still trying to catch my breath from the pain in my left side because she said, oh, that one I got right into the hip, which is what you need. You need to get blood flow. Like I get it. It's going to hurt, especially when you've abused your body as much as I have and not taken care of it. But she's turning up the electrode thing and I wasn't really paying attention. And by the time I was paying attention, she had like wandered, like, they sit down and it was way too strong.
The lights dimmed and
It was intense, like really intense. And I don't want to be, I still have, although I'm lying there shirtless with needles all over my body, I still have some male ego going on. Some part of me is like, you know what? I don't care. Because when she sat down, she must have been looking at that thing going, I can't believe this guy let me turn this shit up this high. What the fuck? But she's like, hey, he's the judge. He knows his body. I don't. But I wasn't going to give her the satisfaction of me saying, turn it down. So I just laid there in intense pain. First from the needle in my hip. Second from the electrodes going. And I know I should have told her to turn it down, but I was like, I can fucking make it. I can survive. I'm tougher than this. So I laid there, this happening, and it got to a point where I was like, I think I need to lift my head a bit to breathe. Because I'm starting to struggle with breath from this pain. And when I lifted my head a bit, I moved it the wrong way, and I forgot that there was a bunch of needles in the trap on my shoulder, and they bit the wrong way, and that caused my fucking intense pain there. And I was like, I don't know if I'm going to make it without telling this woman to stop. And as I was reaching the peak of pain, I'm beginning to believe in my deliriousness that there was blood running down my shoulder from the needle, which clearly there wasn't. But I believed there was. She shut off the electrodes. And I was like, holy fuck, I made it. Now, I don't blame this woman at all. 100% this is my fault. So I don't want anyone to start messaging us saying, she is amazing. She's done, in 2 visits, she's helped me a lot. I have a lot more movement. And everything that happened to me today, she asked me and I did not respond truthfully. I lied every step of the way because I'm male and I know better. I know I could, and I did. I took it. And then they say you're supposed to drink a lot of water when you get home. But I know better. But not, regardless of the fact I usually do drink a lot of water, I was like, fuck it, I don't need water. I can take it. And then I started getting a pounding headache, and Kelly was like, yeah, no, you actually have to drink the water after that kind of stuff. It's like, fuck. So now I'm drinking water while we do this podcast.
Did you expense the bill?
No, we
Did you
have.
expense that from?
I'm too busy expensing the dehydrator. We have benefits, so I
I've
claimed
always
it,
wanted benefits.
claimed it on the benefits. It's not that expensive
Well, yeah.
to get it for everybody. It wasn't. It's not that
Is
much.
it?
I don't
No,
remember how
it's
much. I
not.
don't. Kelly would know more about it than me.
Half the guys want it, half the guys don't want it. Half the guys,
Yes.
you bring it to their attention and they say, we get it in cash instead. And sort of
Yes.
defeats the purpose to the whole thing. So everybody has to be on board. Well, how much do I have to pay for it? I don't want to pay anything out of pocket. I want it off my check.
So there's, I think with this one, I know when we got the benefits at Ridge Lake, I was heavily involved with that. I think less than when we got the benefits here, which is actually kind of weird when you really think about it. But I know when we got the benefits there, you had two options. One was to get the benefit package, and one was to sign up for life insurance. And if you signed up for the life insurance, it was radically cheaper. It was like, I don't know, $6 a month or something. But then it always gave you
But
the
the
option.
boss is the beneficiary?
No.
Oh.
It always gave you the option. The only reason you were doing that was so that you were already in the system, because it always gave you the option to sign on later. Whereas if you outright refused on day one, you would have to do a medical before they would let you sign on to the benefits after that. Because then they believe you're only doing it because you have some kind of pre-existing problem.
Yeah.
So I think everyone that works for us at least has the insurance. So I know a lot of our people use the benefits.
But they didn't have to get their blood taken? Like no one came and took everybody's
No.
blood at
No
work
one did
that
any.
day?
No, if you're going on as a group, they just accept it.
Great.
And then after the first year, if someone has some super expensive medication, they'll adjust the group rate.
Oh.
Or if you have children, there's if you have a family, there's a different rate than a single male, or a single female, or a single it, or they, them, whatever.
They is multiple though.
No, but that's what they like you to. They describe them they as, I guess. Anyways, them the. It's not super expensive. Family is more if someone has kids, but I don't know. We have it. I don't think it's. I think everyone uses it pretty regularly, and the people with kids obviously use it more. But I think at some point, if you want to attract more than the people you already employ,
yeah,
you almost have to say this is what we're doing. And if you want to just sign on if you don't want to sign on at all, no problem. If you do want to sign on, just sign on as the life insurance part of it, or whatever that little thing is, so you can give yourself access to it if you ever have a kid accidentally from not using protection at the bar. Then that's what you get for going glory hole. You can beat that out, I guess.
If I
don't care. Hey, I got invited to a thing today at Congress that says I'm an industry disruptor.
Ooh.
With a bunch of other industry disruptors.
Dang.
Yeah. Big time industry disruptors. Which I looked at the list, and they're all industry people and good people. But I don't remember any of them really disrupting the industry. Doesn't that even mean? What would you have to do to disrupt the industry? Get a tilt rotator?
No.
Like, are tilt rotators disrupting the industry?
No, I think
they are. The industry's always functioned one way, with excavators, with swing buckets and tooth buckets, and now everyone wants these tilt rotators, and that's disrupting the industry somewhat.
No, but it's making it more efficient.
But it's disrupting. But disrupting doesn't have to be bad.
I suppose. Yeah.
It's supposed to be good, isn't it?
Not always.
No, definitely not always.
If you're if you're accepting your Grammy and Kanye West gets up and takes it from you and says you're fucking useless, that's disrupting, but I don't know if it's good.
So is this event a good disrupting or a bad disrupting event?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Only time will tell. Is
It's
our
like-
Mammoth booth meetup going to be a good disrupting of the booth, or
I think I
bad
think
disrupting?
I think Mammoth is disrupting the industry.
They absolutely are.
They're making people take notice that they can't just endlessly raise their prices on their equipment and have people line up to buy it. They're disrupting the industry. I don't know. What is it to industry disruption? I'm asking for a definition. Maybe I should DM the guy back and say, how do you expect to disrupt the industry?
Are you speaking at this event?
No, absolutely not.
Not that
Well,
you know of?
If they ask you, though, it is for free.
if they're gonna pay me, then fuck no. Absolutely. But if they need some free cheerleading or something, or I guess I would. I'm always up to say things for free.
We do it every week.
Exactly.
It's very true.
The great thing about spending off for free is no one can get mad at you. Because whatever you said, you only get what you paid for.
It's very true. It's a good thing we don't charge for this podcast.
No.
Sometimes we got some good weeks.
We've
This
had
has been
some
a- this has been a-
stinkers too.
Really?
We've had some
Every once in a while we get a stinker. Yeah.
Yeah.
They
This
can't
week's,
all be good.
this week's been great. Hey, I'm sorry. I have watched many a guru, many a non-guru. I've spent a fair amount of time on hardscape, landscape, softscape, Instagram. I have never heard any other place teach people how to cut down their beef jerky bill yearly.
Sure.
Has anyone
That's a
ever brought
niche.
that up? In all the
Never.
land, like this is we're breaking new ground here.
I did learn this week how to install steps a new way. That saves time in what seems like money.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Where'd you learn that, Mike?
Some random reel that got sent to me.
Not a university or anything. So what's the cost-effective way to save on that? What do you have to do?
It looked like they used some sort of light weed barrier fabric, so save on that a couple bucks maybe. But no excavation, so just lay it right on the grass. Yeah. And wrong base material, what looked like, and minimal compaction.
Was there a lentil block under those steps by any chance?
Oh, absolutely not. Why would I spend money on that? When I'm trying to save money and make
The
money.
flattened grass just holds everything together real great.
Yeah, it's the strands that
It's the
bind
weave.
everything.
The weave.
Yeah.
Chad, you said you were going to have some quotes ready to.
I got
comment?
something. I'm beyond excited to get back to work because the holidays are over and I can't stand the holidays. Not because I don't love spending time with family, just because everything seems to shut down and nobody wants to do anything. It's not acceptable to ask a question of somebody between like the 23rd and today,
Yeah.
right? Like
True.
today things take back off. And
True.
I'm not a lazy guy, so like I'm always thinking of things to do. over
I
the
am a lazy
holidays and
guy,
stuff.
and I don't like it even.
Really? It's,
Well, I'm a lazy person, and I don't really like it.
I'm still on Kijiji looking at trucks and stuff like that, but like nothing new is happening because everybody's closed down, right?
Yeah.
So
Everybody's in a funk.
everybody's in a funk. But I want to shake off the funk.
Shake off.
And,
Well, but if you want to be in a funk, like I posted about the other day, that's okay.
yeah. Funk doesn't get you very far.
Oh, but what if you're happy with everything you accomplished last year and you don't really want any change?
Well, I'm not necessarily saying you have to change, but you can't stay in the funk. At some point,
Can't
you got to get back
stay
to work, or you
in
go
the
bankrupt.
funk. Since stay in the funk. Well, or you just have to keep lessening your lifestyle and your overhead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get those
Anyways,
PJ line items.
I do agree with your point. Yeah, if you start making your own beef jerky, you can stay in the funk all you want because you're saving at least $2 a day. Like if you save $2 a day, do you understand that that means you'll be saving over $700 a year?
Well, beef jerky is more than $2 a day, is it not?
Oh, but it's only what you're saving.
Oh, right. That's right.
Like you're not. If you stop eating beef jerky altogether, you will save more than $2 a day. But there's still a cost in making your own beef jerky. Which I didn't buy any of the meat or any of the other stuff, and I didn't buy the dehydrator, so I really have no idea how much we're actually saving. Anyways, Chad, go on.
One of the most poignant things you've ever said to me, though, is to buy the expensive water. So you're saving on the beef jerky, but you're buying the expensive water.
But expensive water is only $1 more.
But you're saving $2 a day. So
do you want to know another thing that's a great equalizer in life?
Yes.
I don't feel like you did. Can you guys say it with more
I thought
energy?
you were just going to go into it. I thought you were.
I needed a big energy yes.
What if we said no? Would you have not told us?
No, I would just move on. I don't care. A great equalizer in life is whether you're Taylor Swift or Paver King, you can still only buy the best iPhone for $1,000 or whatever they are, $1,500. Cell phones are the great equalizer. Taylor Swift might have a Mercedes, but I got the same goddamn iPhone Pro that she does.
But she doesn't have the same plan you do.
Well, how much better can the plan get? I have 75 gigs and unlimited texting and messaging and calling. What could Taylor Swift's plan possibly have that mine does?
He's probably got the president of Brazil on fucking
that's different.
speed dial or something.
I'm talking purely in essence of the phone. It's a great equalizer.
It's not about the phone. It's about what you do with it, though.
No, but I'm just. You'd be the richest. You think of something else that if you're the richest person and a regular person, that you have exactly the same. That you can't. The rich person can't fucking change that motherfucker. They can put a fancy bejeweled diamond case on it, but the core is still just an iPhone Pro.
Do you think she has an iPhone 7?
No. Pretty sure she doesn't. I would guess there's a chance she doesn't even have a phone. She has a person with a phone.
A handler.
There's a good chance she doesn't even have her own phone. She has a person with a phone. Maybe that's the upgrade. You can afford an iPhone Pro, but I have a person with an iPhone Pro that I tell them what to do. There's someone out there liking shit on her Instagram. She's not even
half of her.
Anyways, back to the topic, Chad, and whatever you want.
Can't hold a candle to that. You can keep talking about Taylor Swift if you want. I think she's a billionaire.
She is a billionaire.
Yeah.
That's bananas.
1.1 billion net worth.
Do you guys remember, like, 10 years ago, nobody was a billionaire? Like, you never even heard of a billionaire? And now to be a millionaire is nothing.
Yeah.
Like, times are changing.
Well, they've printed a lot of money, so these people are just collecting all the money they printed.
Yeah. Well, I'm not collecting the money they printed.
You've collected some of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why you're getting audited. You've collected too much.
Too much.
You've collected way too much of it.
Well, I'm not printing it myself. So I don't know how that's going. I think we should.
How many posts on average do you think you see in the last 24 hours of people going to the gym?
I've seen quite a few stories of that.
That depends on your algorithm.
Did you start going to the gym solely because it's New Year's, Mike?
No, I actually started about a month ago or so.
Is that just purposely so it wouldn't be a New Year's resolution?
No, I don't also make New Year's resolutions really, but I did it because I really felt my body needing a kick in the butt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you going on your own?
Yeah.
Do you have a trainer? Do you have nothing like that?
No trainer, just going on my own.
Just going.
Easing into it, and hopefully I don't hurt myself.
No, you'll be fine.
Just if you do, Just do nothing about it for 20 years and then go see the lady with the needles.
Yeah.
It's working out great for me. So you said you have quotes?
I did not much. And some of them are named and some of them are not. But hopefully this will help us all kickstart our year, although we've already established that I'm the only one not making money. All three of us right now.
We have
You're
a job
building an
where
asset, though.
we have a job where we might start terrace seeding at the end of the week because there's no
Because
snow.
there's no snow.
There's no fucking snow on the ground. I was like, we might as well do this. Fuck yeah.
Yeah. Here you go. Now you can build it in this year instead of last year.
Are you excited about the lighting war at Congress, Mike?
The outdoor lighting war?
Yeah.
Excited is not the right word, I would say. But
Thrilled?
thrilled? I don't even think that's the right word.
What is?
I'm
Use one adjective to describe how you feel about the lighting war.
one adjective. I am
Nah.
yeah, I guess that's the right word. It's the right sound to
Do you
me.
think that the two sides haven't hyped it enough?
What are the two sides? The two sides that broke apart?
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be interesting. It'd be more interesting if they had booths side by side.
Do they?
I don't know. I don't even know if Inlight Global is going to be there. Do you?
I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Well, that was disappointing.
Chad, you got quotes?
Yeah, my assistant's gonna fire up my iPhone there, and we'll get going here.
Oh, okay.
Ready?
Is this? Are we ranking 1 to 5 or?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
Because we like to do that.
I do like to do that. We haven't done this in a while. I'm kind of pumped about it.
I got one quote to throw in there too, so you go
Right
ahead.
on. Throw it right in the middle. There are no traffic jams on the extra mile.
Ooh. That's because nobody's going the extra mile.
In my early days, I went the extra mile all the time. Now I get mad and still do it reluctantly. I can say, don't call me.
Now I get mad. I still do it reluctantly.
Yeah.
I think that's true.
Yeah. I think, Chad, did you interpret that like going the extra mile for the client?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, for the client, we tend to, or at least we used to try to make sure everything was extra buttoned up, even things that weren't in the original quote or something like that. Like I remember times when we do a walkway for someone up to the door, and there was a wall on one side, but the other side was still old shitty retaining wall, and we'd rip that out and just put it like a little curbing in or something like that, just to make it match. I'm like, oh, I didn't know you were going to do that. Well, we weren't, but couldn't leave it. I mean, I guess we could have, but and I think that paid off a lot for us in the beginning, at least. We had nothing better to do anyway. We only had like 2 little jobs a week or something like that. So
I feel like we still go the extra mile. You know, especially with our. I think it's important part of our trucking business, trying to really help people out to get their product and stuff to them when they want it, or people call us with last minute emergencies, and we try to make sure that we can help them and provide good service. So I think it is a good model. I think we still do it.
how many times do you think that motto is written on the side of a trucking company's truck?
I don't know. I'm tempted to
Go
put
the
it in
extra
ours.
mile.
Do you know what it says on one of our trucks?
Strike first, strike hard.
No. We upgraded the new one that Cody just got. It says "sweep the leg."
Oh yeah, that's good.
When all else fails, sweep the leg.
Is there still the Woody and Buzz hanging on?
Yeah, but the power washing guy who power washes the trucks at the yard cut it in half.
Oh,
Kind of sick, actually.
See, and I'm worried about them blasting the decals off. He's cutting teddy bears in half.
Yeah, it's kind of sick. It's yeah, you definitely cut them in half. Yeah, I like that quote. I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 4. I don't know that it's something I would live by because I think it also could lead you down a bad path.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're going the extra mile and you have to go an extra 5 and people still aren't happy and they're pissed at you and you wonder why you didn't just do what you were supposed to do and leave. I have also been burned by the extra mile.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's those ones that you remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes you more bitter like Chad. And then you just get mad.
Yes. Yeah.
But I do like that quote. I'll give it a 4.
Yeah, I got to go 4 too because I couldn't go 2, and we can't choose 3. It's just true. I think for the most part, I think that's why I can't give it a 5. If it was true 100% of the time, I give it a 5. But there's those times that you recall, you remember, and they never go away. Of times you go the extra mile and you get burned.
That's the truth.
No matter how many dead fish you pull out of a pond.
No matter how many dead fish you pull out of a pond. What did you rate it, Chad?
Let's go 3. No, I can't use 3, right?
Nope.
Then I guess it's a 4. I believe it to be true.
But not true enough to be a 5?
Not true enough to be a 5. I don't know if any of these are 5s. We'll see. Let's keep going. Hard work spotlights the character of people. Some turn up their sleeves, some turn up their noses, and some don't turn up at all.
Mm. What was the beginning part of that quote again?
Can you say that again?
Yeah.
Hard work spotlights the character of people. Some turn up their sleeves, some turn up their noses, and some don't turn up at all.
Yeah.
Which, to me, I think, so I have I'm pretty judgmental when it comes to people not working at all. Like, it's probably my biggest character flaw. Like, if someone is on like a disability, or we have this thing. Oh well, we're in Ontario. Have ODSP. You guys know what that is?
Yeah.
Ontario disability, whatever it is. Irrationally, I think that everybody on ODSP, not everybody, but a lot of the people on ODSP don't fucking belong there. I think there's always something that somebody can do. And like, this is my biggest flaw, is that I need everybody to be working when it's time to work. Right? Like, I will judge people harshly for not doing anything. And
this is your biggest flaw?
This is my biggest flaw, is judging. I think
I guess you're a well-rounded person other than this.
Well,
this doesn't seem like
people might disagree with me, but like, I am overly critical of people who don't work, like, at all. People who sit at home and collect government money, and it just burns my arse worse than anything in the world. Handouts drive me insane.
You should audit them.
I should audit them.
That's where your audit money's going.
That's where all the audit money goes. I know, and it drives me up the wall. It's my scapegoat for life. Is people not working. I just think they are the scum of society.
What, in your mind, and I'm not disagreeing with this, I'm just being devil's advocate. What in your mind justifies someone not working?
Death. Terminal illness. I think there's something for everybody. If you have, I don't know, chronic stomach problems or something like that, you can still answer a fucking phone, man. Like, you can sit on the toilet at your government job and answer a fucking helpline or something like that. You know, there's things that people can do. You don't necessarily have to work 40 hours a week, but you can't be sitting at home full time collecting government money and doing nothing. Like, it just blows my mind. But that's just me. That's always been my one thing.
Your greatest flaw.
My greatest flaw is
Some people's
accepting
greatest flaw
people
is
from-
intense drug addiction.
well,
That's not a bad, great flaw to have, I
If
guess.
this is your greatest flaw, you're doing okay. I feel like you're doing
I
all right.
think, well, I built myself into the person that I want to be, right? But I can't round that rough edge on myself.
Do you think that living here makes people more accepting of it? Because it's like here it's part of life. It's part of. I do you think that living in Canada as a society, it's more accepted than other places?
Oh, for sure.
I think, well, there's a lot of places in the world where if you don't work, you don't eat and you die,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like, to me, that seems far more normal than getting government handouts for your entire life.
And that's always going to be the thing with handouts is that there's always going to be a percentage of people that take advantage of it.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then it's how much do you spend to stop that? Because that's also money that's going out of the government's pocket. And that's like the balancing act, right?
Yeah. But to me, there is no excuse, right? Like, and I'll joke around with the guys, like we'll see somebody not working or something, I'll say send them to the mines. Like I think there's if they can't do anything else, send them to the mines and have them do something in a mine somewhere. Like there's work for everybody. So anyway,
This is an intense situation with
this
me.
is it, and it drives me nuts that more people don't feel the way I feel, right? Because like,
As I get older, I feel more and more like that.
do you think it's an older generational thing? Because
Do you-
young people,
I
they
think
sure as
I
shit
think the
don't think
harder
that
you
way.
work, the more you think like that.
Do you think that more entrepreneurial people think like that than non-entrepreneurial people?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I think anybody who works hard is more inclined to think that way.
Yes.
And anybody who perhaps votes bleeding heart, but not necessarily think that way.
Chad, if you were in charge, would you have government handouts?
No, send them to the
Zero?
mines. Instead of make America great again, it would be send them to the mines. We're campaigning on send them to the mines.
What if they can't use their arms?
They can use their legs. Did you see? There's videos of this guy fucking tiling with just his feet, man.
Yeah.
Some Russian guy, like he's a artisan. He's building these beautiful bathrooms and shit with just his goddamn feet. And people don't want to go to work. Unbelievable.
I agree with that.
Anyway, I'll die on that one. That's a 5 for me.
You'll die on that one.
I'll die on that one.
So I think that I don't think it's I have a lot of flaws though. I don't think that this is I think I'm a way more flawed person than you. I think
that's my greatest one, not my only one. My greatest flaw.
Yeah.
I also don't like talking to people.
I don't like people who
you're on this podcast.
Yeah, but there's the two of you, and that's it. There ain't 50 other people I got to respond to here.
I don't like the idea of people not working too. But I think maybe I accept it more that it's not my greatest flaw. I don't like the idea of it. Maybe I've blocked some of it out of my mind. I think our society's moving more and more towards people who accept that, I guess. I don't like people who tailgate me.
Yeah.
It drives me
They're in a hurry
insane.
to get to work.
Well, I don't know where they're in a hurry to get to. I was driving the truck, and I was looking in the rear mirror, and it was fucked up. And I kept looking, and I started adjusting it, and I couldn't figure out what the fuck was going on. And then I finally, there was a bit of separation, and I realized it was because there was a shitty little two-door hatchback so close to my bumper driving 60K that I couldn't see the windshield or hood of the car because it was too low, and all I could see was the roof.
In front of you or behind you?
Behind me.
Well, that's not your problem.
Oh, I don't like that.
Is it?
It irritates me. Well, I don't know. This is kind of like, maybe this is my greatest flaw. I don't like it. I hate it, in fact. So as we approached the stoplight and I started to slow down, the car pulled into the right-hand lane and turned right. And out of pure anger, I also turned right. And then I put the bumper of the truck as close to the car as the car had been to me. Except that the truck has those crazily oh god, the insurance company's probably listening to this. Crazily high definition lights and these insane little fog lights that are, you have them on your truck too, Chad, that are insanely bright. And so I just made sure the truck was also sort of off center, so those lights were right in the fucking mirror, reflecting back in the person's face.
Love it.
And then I followed them like that until they were turning left, and I didn't really want to go any farther. And then I slowed down and made sure they were bawling their eyes out, and then I drove away. And that might be my greatest flaw. And why our trucks don't have any logos on them.
What's your greatest flaw, Mike?
Lucky enough not to have any. No. That's totally opposite of what I would say. I don't know. I don't have a flaw that comes to mind, though I've got probably everything under the sun.
Ask your wife, eh?
Yeah, exactly.
Just so that I want to just be clear with the insurance company that that's a story, that a fictitious story of what would happen if someone was tailgating me.
Right.
Totally fictitious, made up story. No one's ever tailgated me. Nothing's like that's ever happened. Made sure there was no dashboard cam, then proceeded.
What on the concept of government handouts, what do you guys think of obviously I know what Chad thinks, but universal basic income, UBI? What do you guys think of that?
No, the money has to come from somewhere. There's already not enough money. We're in debt.
But with the argument against it is that or for it is that AI is going to take so many jobs away from people and it's going to also make us so much more efficient that there'll be more money to go around in the system, that the people that lost their jobs can now just have a basic income to draw to cover their needs.
I feel like we're really with that. I feel like we already have a universal basic income anyways.
Yeah.
Like, the truth be told, you can go to the government and already collect an income. I don't think that I think that you're just changing the name of it from welfare to universal basic income. Because that's less offensive. And in another generation, how the derogatory way that people use the word welfare, people will be using that as universal basic income in a derogatory way. It's just a rebranding, I guess. They're like, okay, the welfare brand is kind of dying out, and we need to rebrand welfare and package it in a more exciting way. So we'll call it universal basic income because that makes it more acceptable. It's like when I grew up, they called it unemployment insurance. Now they call it employment insurance. They've rebranded it.
Right.
That's all they're doing is rebranding welfare. So the idea of it doesn't really offend me because it already fucking exists. Like I I do think at some point there has to be someone. Although I understand what you're saying, Mike, or I'm not saying it's your argument either. I just understand what you're saying. At some point, someone still has to put money into the system. Like these people that got replaced by AI, fucking great. So things are working more efficiently. The money still has to come from somewhere. Like it doesn't. Well, I guess you can keep magically printing it. I read a thing today where because some of the banks in the U.S. are because India isn't buying gas in American dollars anymore. They're buying it in rubles, Russian rubles. So that is really fucking up the U.S. economy because a lot of people are moving away from using the U.S. dollar as the standard to purchase major items. There's a bunch of banks in trouble in the States, so they're gonna print another Biden's about to print like $4 trillion or something, which will super fuck everything. So just endlessly printing money, I don't see how that helps either because it just makes chocolate bar cost $15. So if your universal basic income is $700 now, and then chocolate bars are $15, and your universal, it's the same amount of money. It's just you just keep increasing the figures, which I don't know. I don't. There has to be someone producing something to bring the money into the system. This hope that this dream that half the population will do nothing and get a lot of money, and the other half of the population will work really, really hard. I think that that's a pipe dream because more people will just keep moving to the human nature will dictate that more people will keep moving to the. I also think that when you're talking about a universal basic income and they're using that language, you're pretty close to going to a social credit system.
Yeah.
Like if everyone's universal basic income is dependent on the government, you're almost at a social credit system where they're going to say to you, you can't drive that far because you're going to use up too much of your carbon credits, or you're going to do this, or you're going to I think you're getting pretty close to taking your private jet to Jamaica for $160,000 a day because you're the leader of the country, so it's okay.
Okay.
But if I took a private jet to Jamaica, I already established I'm not a jet guy. I'd be thinking of like submarine to Jamaica. I found it interesting that some people DM'd me and didn't get the satire in that.
Really?
Oh yeah.
They went out and bought a submarine.
This is horrible advice. Okay. It's fucking terrible advice. It was super shit advice. Like I just
was it the same guy that took the notes? Literally, it's pointed at him.
Billy Bob.
Billy
Bob.
It just. That's what the internet's all about. You know, the internet is all about that. That some people see it and they just. I feel like my recently, perhaps, my account has moved more and more towards satirical stuff. Where I guess if you've never, I just assume that everyone who follows me has seen everything I've ever done. But really, if one of my videos ends up on someone's For You page or whatever, it could be the first time they encounter me. And I'm there talking about how you should buy a submarine. So maybe that's fair. Because maybe this guy is really trying to tell people to buy a submarine. Which I still think is at its base core, a good plan.
It's a plan.
I think it's effective. How else do you propose that your landscaping company pays for a nuclear submarine? Do you have another way to do it? I'm listening, Chuck.
No, I don't necessarily have another way to do it.
Well, it's the best plan we have right now. Anyways, I take the nuclear submarine. This is well off topic. The internet is an amazing place, though. I think that we're just. I honestly believe that there is a significant possibility that when Justin Trudeau loses the Canadian election, he will come out of the cottage and he will say, I have the support of the army. We can't let anyone else take over this country, and I'm just going to stay. I think that if there was anyone ever close to doing that, this is the closest we've ever been as a country to having him do that. To just say, I'm staying no matter what. I think because he's disarmed the country. Like I've said this to a bunch of people that go, ah ha ha, you're crazy. And I said, okay, tomorrow morning you wake up and Trudeau comes out of the cottage and he says, I'm the supreme ruler now. The army backs me because the army guys are getting what they get to back him and the army follows orders. What are you going to do about it? Know what you're going to do as a Canadian? Go, cool. I guess this is the way things are now.
I'm getting a sponsor, an American sponsor.
There ain't no fucking. So people are exiting Canada at a faster rate than ever before in the history of the country.
Really?
The only thing keeping my family here is my in-laws. They're awesome. They're incredible. But if it were up to me, we'd be out of here as well. Like I would sell it all. I said I shouldn't have that hard of a time finding a job in the States, working for somebody.
No.
I would say we
You
sell
could
it
live
all.
off the fat podcast money.
Yeah.
If you took all your money and shit to Texas, you could buy a fucking happening ranch, bro.
Yeah. I would slowly creep down further south, work another 20 years, and then go even further south, and yeah, that would be my
There's
plan.
an argument you could take all the money you have now and move to the Dominican and never work another day in your life.
Mm-hmm.
Many
I would
countries.
miss a lot of people, but yeah.
What? What about a lot of people?
Oh, many countries. Oh, go ahead, Chad.
I'd miss a lot of people here.
Yeah.
And I suppose I guess I could come back and visit, but I mean, it takes a brain bigger
If
than mine.
Trudeau would let you in.
Well, I'll meet them 5 minutes away from me in Malone, New York.
I'm just saying tomorrow he comes out of the cottage and says, borders closed, you're stuck here forever. I am the supreme ruler of the country. What are you going to do about it? Jack fuck, because you have no way to do anything about it.
Move to Alberta. They're the closest thing we've got to
freedom. The Danielle Smith that runs Alberta is the only person that would do something about it. That runs a province in this country. Everybody else would just jump in line and put their hand out and say, now I'm rich and one of the elite. You think Rob Ford's going to line up and be like, my family's one of the elite now. Give me the money. And then you're the supreme ruler of Ontario forever. And he would fucking love every minute of it. Every fucking minute. Because all you have to do is Danielle, maybe she would be the only leader in the country that would, I don't know. It's an interesting scenario because as a person, for me, what am I going to do? Get a dump truck and fucking drive it to Parliament until they shoot me to death?
I think this topic just got our podcast put on a watch list.
Probably. Well, you can change the topic. That's fine.
Get your editing skills out for that last minute there, Mike.
And we're back after Mike edited, and we're going to discuss something different. What's your next quote, Chad?
I didn't know this was going to be so heavy.
This got heavy.
Chose something else, guys.